Hey there, welcome to Monster Cat's Mix Contest, where real home DJs showcase their mixing talents to win real prizes. Here, let me show you. Each season, finalists from all over the world face off on the show to earn the votes of our elite judges. They must come up with the most creative mix only using our music. But there could only be one season champion. So let's get right into it because it all starts right now on this season of the Mix Contest.
Hey everyone, what is up? Welcome to an all-new season of the Mix Contest, US edition. I'm Rocket Man, the 2016 champion, and I'll be your host. Over the next 4 weeks, our cast of 6 American home DJs will compete in a series of music-related challenges to impress our panel of elite judges. Each year, we get to empower more creatives through DJing and producing, and this year, we're very excited to be able to offer our winner a chance to open up live at Home Base Music Festival in Orlando, Florida. To those that didn't make the contest, keep working on your craft, and we can't wait to see what you mix next year. Today, we'll be presenting our first challenge as well as our first elimination at the end of the episode. But before we get into all of that, let's meet our judges. Bring them on.
Yo, what's up guys? My name is Skybreak and I am very excited to announce that this year I'm a judge for the Monster Cat Mix Contest.
My name is Feathervein and I'm one of the elite judges this season.
Kia ora te whanau, my name is Baldy. I am the winner of the Monster Cat Mix Contest 2022 and I am super duper stoked to be one of the elite judges this season. Wishing all the finalists good luck and happy mixing.
The stakes are very high with this one and it's a real honor to be a part of this. So let's see what you guys can do.
All right, thank you, Baldy, Feathervein, and Skybreak. It's going to be a wild season for sure, and I can't wait to see it all unfold. For today's challenge, we have the New Worlds Challenge. Our 6 finalists have been assigned a random new release from Monster Cat, and their sole rule is to include that track in their mix while capturing the essence of the song. Our judges will evaluate this challenge based on harmonic mixing, representation of the song, and overall technical execution. Each challenger has 8 minutes, and the timer starts now. First up on the decks is Cosmilk. Take it away.
might consume you. Put me back into my body. I'm just a dead man walking. I'm just a pawn, but nothing hurts better than you. Nothing hurts better than you. Are we doomed to the fate laid out before us? Can you live? 'Cause we're no kids. Standing on the edge of the ever growing abyss. Doesn't really have to be like this. Pulling me back into my body. I wanna take my time with you. Your lips are gonna haunt me. If what you say is true, pulling me back into my body. I'm just a dead man walking. I'm just a pawn, but nothing hurts better than you.
Hear it and find him.
First up, we have Cosmilk, whose mashup was based on Buckshots by Boss Fight. It's a very solid effort overall. The tempo changes were lovely, and the Lost Metropolis interpolation in the beginning and end was super creative and tied together the experience really well for me. However, be careful about acapella selection. The rap acapella you have over the top of the middle drop got a little bit jarring and cluttered for me. Also, be careful about using compression. It gets really distracting at times, especially in the Lightbringer section. However, really solid effort once again. Sick job, Cosmilk.
All right, thank you, Cosmilk. And now for our next finalist, here is Enderin. Best of luck.
I'm about to go.
face each other. I think it's time, 'cause the heart only breaks when there's room to be broken. We're foot out the door, too afraid to be close. It isn't me. It isn't me. Like a drive in the rain, you don't know where you're going. When someone gives up and it hurts, 'cause you know it isn't me.
Next, we've got Enderon with their mashup based around It Isn't Me by Ray Volpe and Run. The bro step drop and the Eat Sleep Rage interpolation had me absolutely stank facing the first time I heard this, and the Botanica and Nurturecore vibes in the outro are just outstanding. The sudden switch to mono was a super cool way to end the tune. You have a very bold intro to the track, and I'd like to hear some of those elements reappear in the outro to round off the experience a bit more. For example, I would have liked to hear the Eat Sleep Rage vocal again, or anything to call back to the beginning. But overall, this was super sick.
Great job, Enderin. Now for our next challenger, here is Farnsworth. Take it away.
There's nothing to fear.
drops. Basic music politics essentially never forgetting. One with a bass sound, two with the inner fire.
In the rim shots, can't cut no mic bombs. In the headspace, boom when the bass drops. Basic music politics essentially never forgetting. One with a bass sound. Do not resist.
What's up, Farnsworth? I'm really excited to congratulate you on being one of the finalists for this year's season. This first mix really demonstrated to me that you know how to make a mix flow, which is awesome. There were some really satisfying transitions throughout the entire runtime, so definitely try to keep that up. But what would make it even better is a solid intro and outro to your mixes. Instead of just kind of plunging the audience in and then pulling them back out, try letting it breathe for a bit and then breathing back out. A little inhale and an exhale, if you know what I mean. But yeah, overall, nice job, and congrats once again on being a part of this year's season of the Mix Contest.
Thank you, Farnsworth. Great job. And next up, here is Jamie Vox. Good luck.
motherfucking back. Get back.
Everything's new to me. Sleepless in a distant dream. Slowing up the speed of time. Don't let me crash down tonight. I just wanna feel what I feel, what I feel. When it's just you and me. I'm falling on my knees and everything's just a scene. I can still bleed. 'Cause with you I'm superhuman. Hope it's not a delusion. Sucking me in the state of mind. Tell me that it's real love. 'Cause with you I'm superhuman.
I'm here where endless meets the end. Do you see me? I'm hidden here again. Your whispers found its way, calling me to stay. I'm standing at the edge, but something always brings me back. All the voices in my head reminding me of what I had. If I fall tonight, you can bring me back to life. If I fall tonight, you can be my saving light. You can be my saving light.
Jamie Vox, welcome to this year's season of the Mix Contest. Huge congrats on becoming one of our finalists this year, and you did a great job facing your first challenge. That drop switch into your required track, Wasted, was awesome. You really let it shine in an exciting way, especially with how it blended into bass drop super seamlessly afterwards. For future mixes, I would love to hear you experimenting with more genres to really take the audience on a journey. And don't forget to make sure that your transitions work well harmonically and structurally. But that being said, this was definitely a really solid display of your talent, so nice job, and I'm excited to have you in the running this year. Best of luck.
Thank you, Jamie Vox. Now let's get to our next finalist and home DJ. This is Philip Tallier. Take it away.
Eloquent and brave is what I try to be. It's not what I
side, lose your shit. People on the left side, let's get lit.
I just gotta know one thing.
In this bitch. People on the right side, lose your shit. People on the left side, let's get lit. People on the right side, lose your shit. People on the left side, let's get lit.
No, I said, are you
Stop blowing up my phone. Hey, you don't get the things that I've been through, and I don't have the time to lay it all in front of you. I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself.
Philip Talia, mate, you came out swinging, had a hard-hitting track selection, and I really felt the vibe you were going for here. Something I'd maybe want to have a look at in the future is just tidying up the execution of some of your big ideas. There are a couple of transitions in there that were maybe a little bit unexpected, which can sometimes take away from all the energy you bring in. You clearly understand the vibe of all the tracks that you're playing and can really carry that energy onto the next track well. I just think polishing up those finer details will make your mix stand out even more. So Karpai, great job, mate.
Thank you, Phil Atelier. Now on to our final DJ of the hour. This is Technica. Good luck.
Technica. I really liked how you interpreted your required track there in the beginning. Maybe would have liked to hear a little bit more of it there, but making it work with that techno vibe was stunning. Speaking of stunning, your tempo transitions throughout were flawless, and I never really felt any loss of energy while you were changing tempo, so big congrats on that front. I would, however, have liked to hear that dubstep drop there, that first one being teased a little bit in the build of Rescue Me to really make that drop hit even harder. But other than that, this was a super cohesive mix, and I was locked in from beginning to end. So, Kapai, well done. Good job.
Thank you, Technica, and all of our finalists. This has been a big start to a promising season. We heard some incredible mashups and creative works over the last hour, and honestly, we just need to throw a mix contest festival and get everybody on the lineup. But of course, by the end of this season, we will only have room for one DJ to play at Home Base Music Festival. So this means we now need to make the hard decisions to determine which finalists are moving on to our next challenge and which finalists will sadly be leaving us this episode. I've consulted with our panel of elite judges, each offering valuable feedback, listening and analyzing each Challenge 1 mixes, and we have reached a verdict. And it's time to announce the DJ that will be departing from this contest, but has a promising future, is Philip Tallier. Thank you, Philip. I know this was a short run for you, but like many before, that does not mean anything towards your work and future in the long run. Keep working on your mixes, and for this challenge specifically, really focus on how you're including and representing your required track. As great as the mix was, more could have been added to support the featured track through the entire 8 minutes. Best of luck, and I'm sure we'll see more from you in the future. Well, that is all for week 1 and our new Worlds Challenge. Congratulations to all 6 of our finalists competing. I can't wait to see what you bring to each challenge. Head over to monster.cat/mixcontest2023 to follow the competition on all your favorite music and podcasting platforms so you don't miss out on a single episode. Be sure to tune in next week for our second challenge. But until then, this has been Rocket Man signing off. See ya.